welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. It is day 18 of the September series where I upload a video every single day. And today we're reading Rouge. It's Sunday, I just woke up, so I have all day to read this, and that's all I'm gonna do today. This is of course the author of Bunny, Mona Awad. Love her. I think I originally gave this a 4.5 because I had started it and finished it in very separate times. Like I took a long time in between starting and finishing it. That would have been a better way to say that, Allie. But in reflection, like of course I have to give that a 5 because it was an honorary mention at the end of my year. And I obviously have never been able to get that out of my head because it's so unique. It's so good. And the visuals that book gave me, wow. I'm haunted. This story is a gothic fairy tale that's part Snow White and part Eyes Wide Shut, which I believe is a movie with Tom Cruise. Haven't seen it, never heard of it. I was going to watch it to prepare myself for this, but you know what? I'm just gonna dive in and maybe watch it later. The blurb says that this is a horror-tinged gothic fairy tale about a lonely dress shop clerk whose mother's unexpected death sends her down a treacherous path in pursuit of youth and beauty. Can she escape her mother's fate and find a connection that is more skin deep? Apparently this has something to do with a cult spa, which just sounds lovely, and maybe a magic mirror. I don't know if it's actually going to be magic or if it's going to be more symbolic, that kind of thing. We shall see. And if it's not spoilery, I'll let you know. This is going to be spoiler free. This is dedicated to her mother. I'm so ready for all the mommy issues. Like, I'm hoping this is sort of mother thing. Like, this was my favorite book of last year, and there was a lot of mommy issues in here. There's also a lot of talk about being like a stereotypical wife. And I remember the main character at one point was really talking about how women love to primp themselves. A mother draws the connection between pleasure and hygiene for her daughters so that she can become effortlessly not disgusting, the way that women like Carol are. I don't remember who Carol is. Loving a bath, desperate for her next pedicure. The pursuit of cleanliness, smoothness, hairlessness, her delightful escape. So I think Rouge is gonna be for me. I'm so excited. I don't know why, that really struck a chord with me, how like angry this main character was about the cleanliness of women. But I feel like we're gonna get that in here. Okay, oh my gosh, that prologue, that was like the best prologue ever. It's funny because some of you are probably gonna read it and be like, bitch, that was just average as fuck. But it's this little girl, well, it's our main character remembering being small and asking her mom for the same bedtime story over and over and over again. And you get a little taste at how much of a bitch her mom is. But I also just love when little kids are in the story, but their narration is like cursing. For instance, this little girl is asking for the same story over and over again. And her mom is like, again? And she looked a little like she was sorry for you, like you were damned. But you didn't give a fuck about the other stories. You never did. I just love that. It seems like this is gonna be a very toxic relationship between mother and daughter around vanity and age, youth, beauty. And I thought that maybe the mom would just be sort of evil, like she just has a vibe when she was younger, but she slaps this girl across the face for laughing and crying. My God. I feel like this book is gonna make me cry because we all know I have mommy issues. Okay, I'm gonna start. Oh wait, I forgot to say the most interesting thing in the prologue. So this little girl is listening to her mom tell her this story, and her mom is brushing her hair in this mirror. It's like one of those mirrors that are like 3. And the little girl starts seeing the mirror shimmer, and there's a figure that she thinks is a man that's looking at her mother like sort of pathetically, and then it starts looking at her. That part was creepy. Y'all, I'm slow moving on this because I keep getting sucked into Instagram, but guess what? Mona Awad liked and commented on my picture. It's funny because I tagged her in it. So I shouldn't be that shocked, but what is it about being seen by someone who wrote the book that you're reading? It's kind of cringy how exciting it is. Okay, I've gotten to part 2, about a quarter of the way through, and I'm thoroughly confused, and I'm happy it's happening this quickly. We open up at her mother's funeral, and we learn some of the people in her mom's life. We learn about the obsession that our main character has with skincare products, which I feel on a deep level because when I was 24, I maxed out a credit card just for skincare products. And now I'm almost 30 and I have adult acne because of hormones, so there you go. We learn that the mom was sort of troubled near the end, and there was something funny. Our main character was like asking her coworker if she was crazy toward the end, and the coworker was like, well, she was French. The daughter says, what does that mean? Just that maybe she was getting a little more ... French in her old age. But she had asked for like 3 huge loans that's now put our main character into debt, and it's just a big fat mess. We were very much in reality of this main character dealing with all of this and visiting her mom's dress shop that has now changed a lot. There's like a box of items that she left behind that our main character now has. She opens it up and there's some things from her childhood, including this box that's taped all up. Our main character opens it and it's like magazine cutouts of Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise has been mentioned like 5 times in this book already. Then our main character sees a pair of red shoes, and as she's like holding them up, she completely passes out or something. Like in the next scene, it's nighttime. She's in a dress she doesn't remember changing into. And so this is when reality starts not making sense. Like we have no idea what's going on. Things are spiraling, and I love that this is happening so quickly because in Bunny, I feel like the weird shit didn't happen for a little while in. Maybe I'm misremembering. But the shoes seem to tell her where to go. They direct her feet toward this spa, and this spa sounds wild. Also, I'm not going to say anything, but for those of you that have read this blew my mind. No spoilers. So yeah, there's a lot of intrigue, very culty feeling, but also like, are they all on drugs? It's a possibility. I'm probably not even going to be able to tell you like what's happening from here on out, which is kind of sad, but I can tell you that the imagery and the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. We have this very old Hollywood feeling though, and her mother was French. She was very lavish. She loved the color red. She's kind of reminding me of the Red Woman in Game of Thrones. There's lots of imagery of dolls and mannequins, which is very creepy. And we have had tiny little hints that this mother is not as sweet as everyone thinks. Well, I don't think anyone thinks she's sweet. She sounds like this very moody, intimidating, fiery woman. But there have been a couple hints that like her mother would grab her neck and everyone would be like, oh, how cute, a mother and daughter who love each other. And like her mom's nails are like digging into her skin. Ooh. And then our main character keeps mentioning a scar on her forehead that she's very self-conscious of because obviously she's very obsessed with her skin. But I think probably her mother had something to do with it. She says that she can't remember it. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm completely battling right now, so just go along with me here. Our main character says that she lived in Montreal when she was a child and she lived with her mother, but then when she was 10, she lost a lot of her memories and suddenly she was living with her grandmother in Montreal and her mother lived in California for 5 years. And so when our main character was 15, then she moved to California with her mother. And so I'm very curious because that was just sort of glazed over and half mentioned that there was a separation between the two and that our main character had like a blip in her memory. Yeah, that is very cool how they only just slightly mentioned that. Obviously it's gonna come up again and I'm very curious as to what happened. That is the extent of like the actual information I'm gonna tell you about. Probably the rest of the book I'll just explain like my emotions or confusion. Maybe we'll see how Tom Cruise fits into this. So far, I love the imagery and just the girliness feeling of this, but like womanliness. The actual story so far though, I haven't really latched onto quite yet. I want the same emotion that the prologue evoked in me, from me. I don't know grammatically how to set that sentence up. But yeah, so far I haven't like really been like, oh my God, yet. At least since the prologue, but there's definitely room for it, so I'm excited. She keeps calling her mom's cat a whore, and it makes me laugh so much. Also, anytime there's a character with gloves on in a Mona Awad book, I'm very suspicious. Y'all, I just read something at the bottom of page 154, and I can't tell you what it is, but I laughed out loud. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can say it vaguely. It's what our main character Belle sees in the mirror, finally, in her mom's closet. What the fuck? Okay, I am halfway through and oh my gosh, ever since that last update I did with the mirror reveal, I'm loving this. I gotta be honest, I feel like up until that point I was kind of intrigued, but I was reading it so slowly, it wasn't really grabbing me, and now I feel like I'm gonna speed through the rest of this because like shit's getting weird and I really don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's going on. I have a couple ideas and I'm scared that something's gonna come up that I really would rather not read, but maybe that's just me trying to read too much into this because it reminds me of something in my personal life. I'm not gonna get into that. It is funny though that my initial instinct was to villainize this mother, and I don't know for sure if that's warranted yet. I'm not gonna let you know, but I think it is interesting. I think we were pushed in that direction even just from the synopsis of this book, but also probably based on fairy tales themselves and how much mothers are demonized. I'm sure we're gonna have a conversation about that, or maybe she actually like an evil lady. It could really go 50-50 in this situation. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Let me see any of the notes that I've written in the margins. I just keep writing LOL randomly. Oh. She was talking to a lady at the spa and the lady says, "You're going to go on quite a journey." And she's like, "What sort of journey?" The lady says, "The only journey that matters in the end." And our main character says, "Retinol?" I love that shit. I did underline something that really just slapped me in the face. Her mother's about to go off with some guy. She dates a lot of men. This is a flashback to when our main character is a child. And so she's like begging her mom not to go or to let her go with her. And finally she's like, "Will you bring me back something?" She says, "Pathetic. I don't know the meaning of the word yet, but the minute I hear mother use it about someone, I know that's the word I was." That was painful. Okay, I got to part 5. I've only got about a quarter of the book left, which is crazy because I feel like the pacing since I last updated has been absolutely insane. I am nervous for this last part because I have a very bad feeling. I think I know part of what's happening and I don't want it to be the thing that I'm thinking. That being said though, this is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. If you liked Bunny, you are going to fucking eat this up. I feel like there are references to Bunny. First of all, when she was a little girl, she had like bunny stuff and a little bunny rabbit. I think that was just a nice little cameo, but there's also first person plural. So yeah. I do want to say that I didn't really mention it before, but our main character, her mom is a redheaded, very, very pale woman, and she's obsessed with her paleness. Our main character, her father was Egyptian, and so she is darker than her mother, and it's something that our main character is really, I guess, obsessed with in relation to her mother especially, and with all her friends. Like even when she was younger, all the pictures that she would draw were of like blonde or redheaded girls that were really pale, and none of them look like her, and it's really, really sad. And this book has a lot more to say about like suppressed racism, especially in the beauty industry, when like all of these skincare products say that they're for brightening the skin and they keep messing it up where they say whitening, and then in her head she's like, you should probably call that brightening. And there's some talk about appropriation, like her mother is appropriating the fact that her daughter is half Egyptian, and so she feels like she can borrow that just to like wow people and seem more exotic. So that's really interesting thing that I didn't really talk about. But yeah, this whole section has been so super fast paced. It's very fever dream quality. There's a lot of play with words being mixed up. And at first, even at the beginning, they would like correct it. Like the words kiss and kill. She would accidentally say kill instead of kiss, and then she would correct herself and be like, oh, I meant kiss. And then as this chaos is happening more and more, she's not correcting herself in the narration, and so she's like, I killed him on the lips. And I just love that shit. All right, I'm gonna finish this. I'm scared of what we're gonna get, but also I still don't know everything. Like even the theory I have doesn't answer hardly anything. Also, the reason it's now dark outside and I'm not finished yet is because when I got to the halfway mark, I started doing a spoiler section and I literally talked for like an hour and a half and my camera died and I didn't even get to the halfway mark. So there's no way that I can do like a full spoiler section. I was thinking I would do like a whole video of it, but like who's actually gonna watch that? I don't know. And honestly, there's just too much in here. I couldn't even imagine trying to summarize what just happened in the middle of this book. Like, it's crazy. I can't. Guys, I had to tell you something insane where I'm actually kind of creeped out. Grant, my husband, came home yesterday and he flew on the plane. He was telling me all about his journey and he said that he watched A Few Good Men, the movie with Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. And I totally forgot about it until just now. Our main character is having a flashback of when she goes to California to see her mom after being apart for a while. She says, on the plane, a movie called A Few Good Men played starring Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. And so I go, oh my God. I go over to tell Grant this. He's watching a movie on his computer and he's like, oh wow, and look at this. I look at the screen, he's watching a movie with Tom Cruise in it called Collateral. And his face is just on the screen. What is happening? Okay, it doesn't seem that weird now, but like, I literally got chills, okay? This is weird. All right, I finished. I literally can't tell you a goddamn thing. Obviously, I'm giving this 5 stars because like, wow, I could not put this book down. It had my heart racing. It had my brain whirring. It had me circling things and underlying things and trying to make connections that might have been there, but probably just weren't. I do really, really like that kind of middle fever dream chunk way more than the beginning of the end, but I think it was a beautiful ending and I liked kind of understanding things more, like not fully. This is Mona Awad we're talking about. Like what the fuck was that? I don't know. But it was very well written. And it's so funny that like when I started it, or at least not the prologue, the first few chapters, I was almost like bored just because it gave us such a good taste in that prologue. And then it was like spiraling out of control. I could not believe it. I'm sure I missed a lot and this is definitely a book I'm gonna wanna read again because even when I was trying to do my spoiler section, I was reading some of the passages and seeing certain words and certain symbolism and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I need to reread this like soon. I feel like I was getting a lot of religious symbolism and like gardens and Eden. Like I'm trying not to say certain things because I don't want to spoil anything, but I do have some theories. Obviously, I'm going to want to reread a few times. I'll probably just end up watching some smarter people review this book because I think there is something more going on that I didn't pick up on. Like, of course. But all in all, this was quite the story about memories. I wasn't expecting that. Quite the story about mother and daughter, but also of self-identity and accepting yourself despite societal whatever. But it was just told in the coolest fucking way. Like, how does she think of things like this? I have no idea. And just there are so many things in this book that I'll never look at the same again. The color red, roses, Tom Cruise, like how does she do this? She has a gift. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I kind of want to give like a spoiler, but like how do I even explain what just happened? What the fuck was this? Ugh, guys, just read it, okay? If you liked Bunny, you're gonna like this. Definitely that section in the middle, like I was just talking about. I do miss that college setting that was in Bunny. I feel like that was a big part of the reason I liked it, just like that group of women. But you kind of get that in here, sort of. It's all very interesting, and I don't know what else to say, so I'm probably gonna stop talking because it's late. I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow. But I feel like this is gonna be a book that's gonna be on my mind. Like, definitely 5 stars. Thank you, Mona Awad. Thank you. Oh, I completely forgot that I'm doing the September series. This book has like absolutely sucked my brain dry. I feel like there's so much I didn't say that I'm gonna watch this back at some point and kick myself, but that's gonna be it. Let me do my September series stats. I've now read 12 books. Today I read 369 pages of Rouge, and in total for September I've read 3,702 pages. Oh, I feel like I need to go for a swim. That's the other thing. I think doing my skincare from now on is gonna feel a little different. Okay, I'm being dramatic. I gotta go. Bye.